Hey guys, how's it going today? We're out here with the O2 Speed Triple 955i. We're going to be doing a first ride in this machine. So this is a pretty cool machine. We just got it. I got a little video I made of the test ride. We'll see if that gets in the channel. I might release it, just a short little video of what to look at in test rides and stuff. I also have a couple other videos in the channel if you want to check it out. I'll put a link up above or down below if you want to see those test ride videos and like how to test ride a motorcycle. Today is going to be a first ride of the Speed Triple here. Let's take a listen to this MHP exhaust. It's got a unique exhaust on this from over in the UK. This bike was, from what I understand, brought over here to the US with the previous owner, or the first owner, was over in the UK. This was purchased in the UK, and he brought this over here with him. So, I mean, these old bikes are made in Hinckley. These old 2s, like the older Triumphs, and so they all technically came from the UK, of course. But I was told that this was purchased in the UK and brought over. So there's some stuff in the dash that's a little different. Stuff is like in Celsius and stuff. Things like that. It might be a little different. But let's take a listen to the exhaust and we'll get out and get on the road. Alright, here's the startup. We've got just about, I think it says 24,000 on it. Yep, just over 24,000 miles in this machine. And you got to hold the clutch on these to start these up. This has already been running a little bit, so never rev a cold engine real hard, right? Here's how the motor sounds. Pretty good sounding motor for being 20-some years old. It runs really well too. Okay, here's the MHP exhaust right there. That is a good sounding exhaust, man. Single-sided swing arms are so nice. Super nice stuff. Love that. Easier to adjust the chain too. Just adjust the chain on this, and single-sided swing arms are really nice to adjust. Super easy. I'll show you right here. It's just, you loosen up this pinch bolt right here, and then there's a little concentric ring right there that uses a spanner to move up or down, and it adjusts, it tightens or loosens the chain. And this one's got to be, you got to keep this one a little bit tighter. Let me turn this off. Interesting thing with the center stands on these, see how close that is to the center stand right there? Right, the chain. So you don't want to have your chain too tight, that's bad, but this one has to be tight enough just so it doesn't quite touch that the center stand, because that center stand sure comes up close to the chain, doesn't it? So you got to keep this chain maintained and in good shape. All right, let's get out on the road. All right guys, we're out here on the usual route by the ridge, and we're going to give this a quick shakedown here for the first ride. Just went to the bank, came back, and went through the gears, made sure that none of the gears slip, that kind of stuff. I did some of that in the test ride, but it was kind of a limited area to test ride in. Couldn't really do any high speed stuff. I didn't want to take it out for too long, not being my bike, or get lost and stuff down in Iowa where I got this from. So it seems to pull real hard. We got the inline triple here, of course, and the 955i, and quite a bit of torque in this compared to the Street Triple that we currently have, the 765. Yeah, it pulls really good. Let's do a brake check here. Brakes are okay. I'm going to bleed the front brakes here later tonight. The handling feels pretty good. The front tire, for being old, it's an old Bridgestone battle axe. I'll put a little clip of it here. What gear are we in here? That's first gear. Oh, got some trash in the road here. Seems to be sticking pretty well. The date code on it, if that is the date code, I think I found it. Usually I'm pretty good at finding date codes, but this date code was a bit of elusive, probably because it's older. I mean, this tire might be 10 years old on the front. The rear is a brand new Michelin Pilot. Is it a Pilot Road 4 GT? Something like that. I'll also put a clip of that here too, so you can see what that is. Is that the front brakes? Yeah, it's the front brakes. So you hear a bit of squealing in the front brakes there. It could be, they're not squealing, it's a, see if you guys can hear it in the video here, we'll do it, there's no one behind us right now. Pulls real hard. Okay, and then see if you can hear the, it doesn't sound, it grabs fine. It might just be the sound those older pads are making. I'm going to replace the pads in this as well. I might do the rotors too when I do the front tire, which will be this coming week. Oh yeah, she pulls like a freight train. Check the rear brake here. Oh yeah, the rear brake's pretty good too. Feels good. Rear brake is not as good as the Brembo on the 765 Street Triple that we have, of course. This is an old bike, and I'm sure the pad on that rear end could be freshened up as well. Probably should do that at the same time as the front. The rear I really only use for like trail braking and for coming to a stop, so I don't really use it a whole lot. So it's not as important. Your front brakes are of course the most important thing on a sport bike. So I'm surprised the front tire actually feels okay. It's a little bit, not super cupped, but it's a little bit cupped because it's so old. Plenty of meat left on it. I thought I'd have to really take it easy up here, and I mean I'm taking it easy because I'm unfamiliar with this bike, but it's really not as bad as let's say the old Bridgestones were on that Busa. Those things were a super sketch compared to this. Over the rise there. Take our left up here. Looks like the radiator is keeping the bike cool, or so is the wind, but it's 86 degrees Celsius. This bike was imported from England by the first owner. He was in England, so he, not imported, but he like shipped it over with him, I guess, is what the previous owner said. So I'm not sure if we can switch that from Celsius to Fahrenheit or not. We will have to find out. Over some gravel there. So far the ride is sporty. It's like a bit sporty, but it's not super hard or anything like that. And with the ergos, those crash pegs here, I'm gonna slow down here. These crash pegs here, if you can see them, they just barely impact my knees, just like barely touch them when I'm seated forward on the bike. When I go backwards, they'll like put my butt back. They don't touch them then. But when my butt is forward, they're just barely touching. Bike feels very solid though. I think some tank grips would be good. And the brakes are okay, but the brake feel, I'm gonna definitely do the fluid on this. The fluid looks relatively clean there, if you can see it. Doesn't mean that's, I mean, who knows how old it is. Maybe the previous owner did it, maybe the fluid's 5-6 years old, no idea. So I'm gonna do that tonight and see if it improves the brake feel. Ooh, man, the motor on this is really the star of the show. Really pulls good. Got 24,000 miles on this almost, and it really pulls nice. Feels really good. And that rear tire, the new Michelin, is hooking up out of the corners nicely. You come out of the corners and give it a little, give it a stab. Well, not a stab, but a nice progressive roll on, let's say. That was just all in second gear back there. This thing's got really nice torque. It's got more power than the, I keep comparing it to the 18 Street Triple that we got, because actually it has the exact same amount of horsepower, but this has more torque and you can feel it. That the 765 has like 50 foot-pounds, something like that, I think, of torque, but it's very linear torque. This has like 74, 73, something like that, and you can really feel it. That guy is on the wrong side of the road, probably getting his mail, I would imagine. Alright. Oh man. It feels so good, guys. The suspension on the front here is surprising. These are not upside down forks as you saw in the walk around at the beginning. These are, you know, standard old school forks, and so far they feel pretty good, even under braking. We'll come up around this corner here and we'll give it a little brake action. Man, I really like that. previous owner installed new throttle cables, and the throttle is really nice on this bike. Just, I mean, the fueling, not just the throttle cables, but the throttle cables feel good. But the fueling is really nice. Give it some brake here. A little bit of front end dive, not much though. Not much front end dive. Nothing like the, I always compared to the MT-07, because that thing had front end dive like a, that thing was pretty sloppy with the stock suspension. And yeah, this has very little front end dive compared to that. Now let's give it a good stab here. Yeah, it's got some dive, but it's not bad, and it's fully adjustable, so I could also tighten that up a bit if I wanted to. Yeah, the front brakes are definitely not as good as those Brembos on the street. Oh man, it pulls, bro. Oh man, does this thing pull. Woo! Nice. For an old bike, wow. There's no mirrors in this bike, so here's checking behind ourselves here to see if we're got anybody behind us. Wow, wow, the pull on this, guys. I am thoroughly impressed. We had a couple other 1050s on this channel, speed triples, and this doesn't, well, from memory, it's been a while, but from memory, this doesn't pull quite as hard as those did, but it pulls plenty hard. Wow, it feels really good. I am impressed by this 20-some-year-old motorcycle. Wow. Well, if you're looking for a naked bike on the cheap, and you can find yourself a clean 955, man, I would recommend. Wow, nothing wrong with this at all. The gearbox is a little clicky, but it's not bad. It's not giga smooth like, you know, the new stuff with quick shifters and everything. There's a bit of a notch to it, but it's not notchy like a Harley or something like that. Not dogging on Harleys. I had a Harley. Put the link below. I'll put the link here if you guys want to check out the Fat Bob at this channel. But yeah, it's not bad or anything. It's just not like butter smooth like some of the modern transmissions are. But hey, it's got a nice positive click when it goes in, and it feels good. But when I check the oil in this, the oil looks pretty new, but I will change that as well. Yeah, it's got some grunt to it. It sounds good too. That, I don't know if you can hear that MHP exhaust through the mic here, but it does sound pretty good. I'm trying to avoid this oil spill here on the road if you guys see that. Looks like a tractor or something came through. Yeah, I'm really impressed by this. It feels very solid. It feels well built. Like when you go over bumps and stuff like that there, that's some pretty bad bumps. And the suspension is a bit more compliant than the, I have a GoPro 750 currently at the moment, and that other Street Triple. The suspension's a bit more comfortable, but it's still, I wouldn't say it's wallowy in the corners at all. At least not just in this first impression. Maybe once I, you know, get it on harder and stuff and push harder, and I might find some niggles there. But for a first initial impression, it feels pretty good in the corners. It's not all. We'll hit some high-speed corners up here and check that out. But it feels pretty good. Let's do the on-off throttle here. It's fuel injected. So let's get down in first here. And we'll do a little on-off throttle test. I think that's the top end of our... Yeah, the on-off isn't, it's not too snatchy or anything. It's smoother than the GoPro 750. That's got a stock, that's the stock mapping, everything's stock, you know, ECU hasn't been flashed as far as I know. It's just got a M4 slip-on on it. And this is a little smoother than that. This probably isn't quite as smooth as the new Street or the new 1050s, but it's pretty good. This is the old school throttle cable, of course, because it's an 02. But yeah, it feels good. I like the throttle feel on it. No super, bad snatchiness or anything exactly to speak of. Nothing that I would, you know, complain about or maybe even want to change, at least for now. Rear brake test here. Locked up the rear there to test it. Locked up, so it works. Little rear end slide. Check and see if we got any peeps behind us. There's no one behind us. That was the top of second. Pretty tall gearing there. Gotta be a little careful here and test this front tire out. I don't want to bin it when I just got it. Yeah, front tire's holding pretty well. We got some turkeys in the road up here. Are those turkeys? I believe so. Say hi to the turkeys. Yeah, tires feel pretty good. They're sticking pretty well. No goofiness in the handling. It doesn't feel like anything's bent or twisted as far as I can tell in the forks. Or the frame, at least not. I mean, I looked it over pretty well. Looks like it's been tipped over on the left side here. You can see a little marring on the the bottom of the left engine case down there. But it must have just been supposed to be tipped over or something, because the tank isn't damaged or anything. So it might have been like a parking lot grab to tip over or something. Hopefully, but I don't see any. There's no like dents in the tank or anything that would show it was low sided hard or high sided or anything like that. We're going to hit this corner up here. Sometimes a little gravel coming off that road. Hopefully it's clean today, so we'll kind of try to stay clear of that. We'll go down to gear. A little hang off here. Yeah, there is some trash there if you can see it and avoid that. Yeah, it feels pretty good. Pretty solid. That corner can be hit much faster than that. We'll flip around, do it one more time. But I also don't want to get in big trouble here in this new bike. Feels good. I'm very impressed by this bike. I was for what I paid for this bike. I was expecting a cool, you know, classic machine, but I was not expecting the performance that we're getting out of this. I'm gonna look and see if there's anybody coming, because I do not know. That guy is also doing a U-turn, so I'm going to do the same thing. Yeah, it sounds, it's got that classic triple sound. Has a steering damper on it. Ooh, got hit by a big bug in the arm there. That hurt. My left arm took a bug to the arm there, guys. Whatever that was. Yeah, it feels really good. Feels really planted. So far, so good. Impressive. Yeah, if you guys can find a like a early 2000, like a 955i, the injected versions, that's what this is. Get about 120 horse in this, and like I was saying, 74 foot-pounds of torque. The handling is good. Throw a new set of tires on these guys. Maybe you can find one cheap, find one clean. New set of tires, oil brakes, all the good stuff. And hey, take it out and have fun on it. If you can find one that's lower mileage than this, that even be better, of course. It's got about 24,000 miles. But if it's been well taken care of, go for it. And I'm really liking this bike. I might be a Triumph guy. I think this is like our 4th Triumph now. We'll see how reliability is on these long term. I've heard the 955 motors are quite reliable, but I've heard that the electronics are not so much reliable. Yeah, so my overall rating on this, this is for price for value on this guy. Man, I don't think it gets much better than this. We got this for under $3 grand, and even with the tires and everything that it needs, And the brakes and stuff, I'm betting will probably be at, you know, something like 3,100, 3,200. And we'll have new tires on this, at least like new front. It's got a new rear right now. New brakes. Yeah, it currently has a new chain and everything on it. So, yeah, if you guys can go out and find yourself one of these for a reasonable price, and it's clean but well taken care of like this one has, I would go for it. Especially as, I don't know if I'd do this as a first bike. It might be a bit much for a first bike. It's a little bit heavy. It's like 416 pounds dry, which means wet and ready to ride is probably 460, 470. It depends on what, if you have an aftermarket exhaust and what mods you've done to it and stuff like that. But this is probably, with this full exhaust, I don't know, 450-ish maybe a little more. Maybe that's a little optimistic. Ooh, what a blast though! And it's not like super scary. The power is pretty linear, so you could maybe ride this as a first bike and be okay as long as you're careful. Maybe you have a little dirt experience or something. Right, it might be fine. But as a second bike, I think this would be a great affordable second machine. Or maybe you've got a like a cruiser in the garage, and you want something for weekend blast to have fun on. I would say check one of these guys out. Get yourself a good deal. Yeah, guys, I think we're gonna have a lot of fun on this bike for not a lot of money. Maybe that's what we should call this video. A lot of fun for not a lot of money. I think that's it for this video. She did it. Probably getting a little long here. So see you guys in the next one. If you enjoy this content, make sure you like and subscribe. We'll have some more content with this 955 coming up, as well as all kinds of other stuff. We got the GXA 750 content, which I haven't posted much of yet, unless it comes out before this. We got some more Street Triple content coming up. All kinds of stuff coming. So, and maybe some test rides from one of the dealerships locally too. Have a good one. Hope you're doing well.